When I moved from Queensland to Melbourne 3 years ago, I was surprised by the huge old-growth forests here, which are starkly different to the tropical rainforests up north. I was even more surprised to learn that Victoria is logging these giant trees for wood chips and toilet paper. The more I learnt about the industry, the more shocked I was. Not only is the state-sponsored destruction of Victoria's native forests incredibly costly for taxpayers, it is environmentally catastrophic. In case you didn't know, Australia is leading the extinction crisis, with 35% of all mammalian extinctions occurring in Australia. Iconic species such as the leadbeater's possum and the greater glider are directly at risk from the logging of their habitat. Logging also carries a heavy carbon cost. Victorian forests are the most carbon dense in the world and will provide over $3.1 billion in carbon sequestration into the future. Clearly, protecting them is an effective and incredibly simple climate change mitigation strategy. So, rallied by the recent COP15 commitment to halt biodiversity loss by 2030, I committed my fellowship time to campaigning for our forests. My first task was to understand effective lobbying, so I consulted 3 environmental heavyweights: the former Vice President of the Australian Conservation Foundation, Honorary Professor Peter Christoph, State Member for Melbourne Ellen Sandell, as well as veteran Friends of the Earth campaigner Cam Walker. From chatting to these legends, I concluded that the most effective path forward was public education and citizen science. So, in January, I teamed up with the amazing folks at Friends of the Earth Melbourne, where we launched an education campaign across 3 Victorian universities. This entailed leafleting about forests at different orientation weeks to spread the word to students. Riding high from some great O-Week engagement, the next step was to actually go surveying. In case you don't know, surveying is one of the most effective methods of protecting forests because legally, if protected species are detected in a logging coup, it automatically triggers a reduction in the area available to be logged. I had a huge amount of interest from students for the survey because it posed a great opportunity for them to gain practical surveying skills. I then teamed up with the forest group, Kinglake Friends of the Forest, who operate in Kinglake, and me and 9 young people headed out to the Central Highlands in March. During the day survey, we mapped almost 77 hectares of forest, looking out for hollow-bearing trees where mammals live. Then, during the subsequent night survey, we spotted a number of critters, including greater gliders, yellow-bellied gliders, and koalas, as you can see in the video. So actually, by taking the video footage of these animals into the forest, we succeeded in getting the animals' home range, the forest waterways, and 60% of the basal area of the forest protected from clearfell logging, which was an absolutely huge win. I decided to spend my project money on a survey kit, including a GPS and a 1500 lumen spotlight. This has established a permanent University of Melbourne surveying kit, meaning that any future students will be welcome to go surveying with Kinglake Friends of the Forest. Given the amount of interest I had from students, I am hoping to establish a regular student surveying group where I can get more students involved with surveying. And in very, very recent news, just 2 days ago, the Daniel Andrews government announced that native forest logging will end in January 2024. This is a massive This is an absolutely massive win for our climate and biodiversity, and a testament to the power of ordinary people to take action and make change in their society. So this is a very, very celebratory week that is about 30 years in the making. I'm so grateful to everyone involved in this fellowship, which has presented some wonderful opportunities to become an environmental leader and has actually helped pave the way for me to campaign for native forests in both the Victorian and New South Wales state elections. I've also been privileged to meet a cohort of incredible young people who are similarly passionate for a more sustainable world, and I really hope to work with you all again in my career. So please do have a look at my website for some more information about my project, or if you'd like to chat about anything environmental, I'd really love to hear from you. Thank you.